But a growing number of people are taking advantage of Tennessee's long growing season by establishing their own home garden. The gardeners are almost as diverse as the gardens themselves.
My name is Jonakin. I'm a professor of economics at Tennessee Tech, Cookeville, Tennessee. The house here is about 2.5 miles from Tech, which permits me to ride my bike. Again, a good form of exercise and lowers my carbon footprint. When I'm out on my bike, I look around for bags of mulch that people have put beside the road, the grass that they've bagged when they've mowed their lawns, and I can run back later in my truck and pick them up and then bring them back and just spread it on the garden. I lived here about 18 years, at this current house for about 15. I think of it as my urban homestead. It's a big lot, about 3/4 of an acre, and that permits me to do a large garden. Probably a little too much, but whatever's left over, the neighbors seem to enjoy, so I really enjoy doing the garden. Even though it's late August at this point, it's possible to have lots of stuff coming in the garden if you just stagger some of the plantings. And for instance, the squash here is a third planting, and I've had these almost continuously now for about 3 months. It's not hard to do at all. This is a yellow squash called Zephyr, and it's a yellow squash with a kind of green nose, very tasty. The only problems that you'll encounter with squash this time of year typically will be the downy mildew, which is a mold that grows on the leaf that can eventually really weaken the plant. But you can buy some organic fungicides for this that really beat it back and keep the plants healthy. But little water on these things and they'll produce for quite a while. So lots of squash with a little bit of effort. The beans here are also a plant or a crop that's easily staggered in terms of the planting time, which again means that you can have lots of beans over an extended period. But staggering these beans means that you can have a steady supply for an extended period of time. This is the third planting I've done of the green beans, and I've had them now for about 3 months. And these will be producing well into October. All I got to do is throw a little water on them occasionally if it stays dry, and there will be lots of beans. On this side, I have a sweet potato planting. Sweet potatoes tend to root as they grow out in an invasive fashion, and if you permit them to root, then it diminishes the energy that goes to the mother plant. So what I've done is to mulch these heavily and keep them snipped back. And as long as I can keep them from rooting, and you can see here the roots that they want to send out as they spread. If I can keep these from rooting, then I think it's going to generate a lot of potato come October. Over here I have about 6 or 7 plants of a sweet red pepper. This is an Italian variety called Carmen that I got from Johnny's Seeds. It's a hybrid, and it's going to be hard to find this at a local plant nursery, so you've got to start a seed like this on your own. But as you can see, these are really prolific, and it is a drop-dead good eating pepper. This thing is sweet. It's great for eating fresh or split in two and stuffed and baked in the oven. Carmen. It's getting towards the end of the season here for the okra plants. They're putting on some fruit, but not a whole lot at this point. As you can see, that a lot of these plants have already bit the dust. They're susceptible, like tomatoes, to a lot of wilts and diseases, and since these aren't hybrids, I can save the seed. And what I've tried to do in the last few years is save the seed from a few of the plants that have best survived the diseases, thinking I can breed in a little bit of resistance over time. So this is a fall red raspberry called a heritage planting that I put out last year, 24 plants, and it has spread immensely since then. I can come out here most days at this point still, even though the bulk of the crop has been picked, and probably pick over a quart of berries. These things are really great fresh, but if you're going to use them for something other than just eating, what I often do is make them into a syrup and put over pancakes. Just take out the quantity you want, mash them a little bit in a pot, and throw some sugar in, sweeten them to taste, and perhaps a little cornstarch to thicken. to the consistency that you want, and keep them on the stove for just a little while, bring it to a light boil maybe, and let the cornstarch and the syrup do their work, and you've got some of the greatest syrup in the world to put over pancakes.